Hello, my name is Andrea. I'm a student of Business English 7 and this is my second portfolio. Today I'm going to talk about the video 5 tips to improve your public speaking. The video will go this way. First I'm going to tell the 5 steps you need to know in order to become an outstanding public speaker, and then I'm going to give some examples where I have used them in my life. Finally, I will tell how I think this video will help me in my career. To begin with, the first tip you need to know is practice. This is essential because when you practice, you get to know the flow and the strength of your speaking, so within the time you can improve it. And also, it is key to know that practice is not a matter of doing it once. You have to practice many times, because when you practice many times, you can get to know how good you are and how good you are improving within the time. This happens to me when I was in my French class. I had a really bad pronunciation of the word, but because I practice 1 hour every day, I get to speak better this language. And the second step is listening. Listening is about paying attention to the recommends and the comments that the audience gives you. For example, one day I was practicing for a presentation to my biology class, but my sister was telling me that my voice was too low. I didn't hear to her, but when I presented, not even my teacher could hear me. So this is important that you listen, because when you listen, you get to know how people perceive your speech. The third one is record and watch. Well, this one can be very hard for some people because sometimes we are or was critics. However, it is fundamental to do it, because that way you can enhance the nonverbal language such as gesture and facial expression, and you can avoid the use of the crutch words such as like, or. This one reflects insecurity and lack of preparation. This happens to me now that I'm doing these portfolios. I get to be a more secure person, a more secure girl. Now I don't do more like I still do it, but a little less, and I get to control better my facial expression. Now the fourth one is be honest with yourself, and this is for me the hardest one, because sometimes we think we're above the average, we think we're the best. But sometimes you have to recognize that you are not the best, that you can make mistakes. And once you do it and you're willing to make some effort to be better, that's when you're going to the extra mile, and not everybody's going to the extra mile, so you will be lucky to recognize that. This happens to me when I was in my first math class. I had a really bad grade, but once that I realized that I have to improve that and I made my effort, I really get good grades and I was one of the best in my class. Now, the fifth one is know your audience and subject. This is very important. When you know your audience, the ages, and what they want to know about you, you can know how to target your presentation and how to approach them. For example, once when I was giving a kids some presentation, I noticed that they were getting bored. Why? Because I was using some complicated words, and also I didn't do any activities. So that's why it's important to get to know your audience and to be clear with that. And there's one extra. This is about taking notes. I know that as human beings we want to be perfect and we don't want to get mistakes, but this happens. You can forget things. So that's why the notes are. You can use it as visual aids or as little papers. Most of the time I use it like visual aids because I had a terrible problem with numbers and with days. So I look for a moment and then I continue with the main idea. The important thing is to have the main idea in your mind all the time. Well, finally, in conclusion, I have learned that I have to be a better public speaker by listening. I have a real problem with listening, and I also have to be a more secure person and not to attach to something that is great, and to be more spontaneous. This is all. I hope you like it.